Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to the top 10 builds of 2016. I've built a lot over this past year. We're looking at a small portion of it now. I think I've done well over 300 tutorials in the past year. I think I've gotten more than 300,000 new subscribers to the channel. Over 60 million views, and I just want to share what I think are the top 10 builds and series of builds that I have made over the year 2016. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and making all of this possible, and I do wish you a happy new year. But without any further ado, why don't we actually kick in to number 10. So at number 10 we have the YouTuber house, which is an absolutely insane idea brought to life by you guys. So here we have a collection of YouTuber heads built in a sequence, connected together in separate stories. So we began with the characters from the Telltale Minecraft story mode game, and we have Stampy, we have Stacy, Dan, we have LD Shadow Lady, and of course we have Captain Sparkles. We started off with these 5, and it quickly snowballed into many stories that even include my head in there as well. And I did decide to cut this off at one point, but if you were brave enough, you could keep this build going forever. This is one of my favorite builds of 2016 because it started off with something that was supposed to be just a very simple one-story build, being the 5 characters from, like I said, Minecraft story mode. However, it very quickly turned into something which is just, I don't know whether to call it a wonder or a monstrosity, but I'm very happy that we got this done in 2016. Number 9. So at number 9 we have my fire station. It's very simple in design. However, I like it a lot because it's very easy to identify what this build actually is, fits very well in any city, and it also combines some of my favorite aspects of Minecraft, which is using several builds and making something great. So having a fire station all by itself is fine, but then you can start adding things to it. So as you can see, the inside of the fire station is furnished. If we were to come inside, we have a reception area. We even have access to the garage, and if we were to walk upstairs, we have an area in which the theoretical firefighters can relax and they can hang around, and we even have a locker room area in which the firefighters, theoretical of course, can change and gear up. And we also have an ulterior entrance into the actual garage where you can find another fire engine. And if we were to come out on the roof, and one of the many reasons why I like this is because here we now have a fire and rescue helicopter. And not only that, but we do have one of the best vehicles I think I have ever made, which is the fire engine. I love this build to death. It looks absolutely amazing. If you haven't found, or if you haven't made the fire station yet and you'd like to make it, I will be including links to each one of the 10 builds and even more that will appear on this list. Number 8. Coming in at number 8, we have lesser just one video and more of a series of builds. It all began with my doghouse tutorial. This is a modern doghouse fit for your canine friend, in which they can live in a really nice, spacious, up-to-date, great-looking little house. This is for dogs, but this very quickly snowballed into other builds. So instead of just including one build, I'm going to include my entire Animal House series, including a nice big barn in which you can have multiple different different types of animals all bundled together. We also have this great looking cat house. Next, we have my second favorite build in the animal builds playlist, which is this great stylistic, very, very useful and practical rabbit hutch. We even have this very functional and great looking chicken coop, and an incredibly large and realistic horse stables. We even have a place for these cute little piggies in this amazing looking pig pen. If you've ever wanted to build a nice functional sheep farm with a great way to keep track of different colors of sheep and separate them accordingly in a fast and easy way to do so, then you really can't forget this build either. I even built this duck pond, even though Minecraft doesn't have ducks. I just like to sometimes pretend that chickens and ducks are interchangeable. And last but certainly not least, we have this cow barn, which is very, very functional, very practical, functions very much like a regular barn, except it is specifically dedicated to our friend the cows. And that concludes every single one of my animal houses simultaneously taking the 8th spot on this list. Number 7. At number 7, we have my police station, which I like for the exact same reasons that I enjoy my fire station, because it's not just one build. It is a multitude of builds that makes this place great. Not only do we have the police station, we also have a police riot van, we also have a police car. We have an additional riot van for those rowdy villagers. We even have a police motorcycle. And if we make our way to the roof, we also have a police helicopter. And of course, not only does the police station itself look pretty good, but if we were to have a look at the interior, we have a nice lobby area, we have a reception desk, we also have a place in which we would keep our rowdy prisoners, we have an open cell, and we have 2 special quarantine cells. And if we were to work our way upstairs using the lift, which doesn't work, unfortunately, because I can't enter redstone, but if we were to climb our way up to the 2nd floor, we do have a couple of desks, water coolers. We even have a place for the chief of police. We also have smaller officers as well, and we even have, if we come to the end of the corridor here, we even have an interrogation room in which people can be interviewed, and suspects can be interviewed and talked to and interrogated. And this was originally this little office here, supposed to be the room in which people can kind of like just sit and watch you. But that is my 7th favorite build of 2017, my police station as a whole. Number 6. At number 6, we have something that you may have forgotten about, or maybe you just didn't even know about. We have my campsite. Yeah, I've actually built an entire campsite with just about everything I think that you could expect to find on a campsite. So once again, this isn't just a singular build, it is a build made up of lots of different builds, which I think make the most impressive builds. We have a car and a caravan. This little caravan here has enough room in which you can have a little seating area, you have enough room for a bed and some chests, and there's even more room. We even have a nice well here, which I think you would find on a campsite to get fresh water. We even have a few tents here with a lovely little campfire. If we move through the campsite, sticking with the sort of modern feel, we have an RV, and this RV has a nice outdoor area, but it equally so has a great interior, in which you have more seating, you have a kitchen, you even have a bedroom, and a bathroom. This RV is fantastic, another one of my vehicles that I'm extremely proud of. We also have a nice log cabin, which you can stay in, next to your campsite, fit with a fire, a bed, furnaces, crafting tables, and even a little pond that you can ponder over. Pardon the pun. But you also have, on top of that, you have a nice little outhouse, which is basically just a toilet. You even have a lake house, which has a barbecue area and several stories to it. It has this great downstairs area. It also has this second floor, which is fantastic as well. And we can even make our way up to the loft area, in which we have a bed and an additional balcony. We also have, complete with this, a great little garden and a boathouse in which we can keep our rowboats. We even have several regular boats. Well, they don't work, but they are technically sailboats on the river. Sorry, it's not a river, it's actually a lake. On the lake, we even have a bridge and we have a pier from which people can fish off of. And if that isn't impressive enough, we even have the red angry bird here overseeing everything. This is my campsite. I'm extremely proud of this. I'd almost forgotten about it until I started going through all of my builds of 2016, and I looked at every single one of them, and this definitely deserves its spot at number 6. Number 5. At number 5, we have my suburban house number 8. Whilst I've made a lot of suburban houses since suburban house number 8, I think that this one is my favorite out of all of them, for the very simple reason that this was the first suburban house that I designed the interior for properly. That I actually designed the house around the fact that I had to build the inside, and I also wanted to make the outside of the house look nice as well. So for that reason, whilst I'm not 100% sure that this is the best looking suburban house that I've made this year, it is definitely my favorite because I think that it made me better at building suburban style houses because of this one that I made. So if we were to come inside here, we have a great functional little living room in which we can watch TV and hang around and sit on the sofa. We have a great looking dining room, and we're missing a tablecloth on this table. We even have a kitchen, my favorite part of the house. We have this great looking suburban kitchen. We even have ourselves a garage in which you could store a car. The car that I typically build is actually bigger than this garage, otherwise there would be one in here. If we were to come upstairs, we even have upstairs we have a nice master bedroom in which we can walk out onto the terrace. Yeah, we should have put this on the dining room. If we were to walk inside of the other rooms, we have a nice bathroom with a shower, a bath, and we have a nice little area in which we can go to the toilet. That's an outdated toilet. I've actually built better toilets and bathrooms than this since, but this was kind of like the first time that I actually properly tried, and I've also built better bedrooms and stuff. But it's cool that this is kind of like what started it all off. This is like the secondary bedroom, and if we were to come back downstairs, I'm sure that you guys will have noticed that we even have a garden here, which I think is a bit stronger than the inside. But we have a barbecue area. We have a nice miniature tree house, which is an awesome build by itself. We also have a patio area where we have a table and we can sit out and look at the pond. Like I said, the house itself and potentially the inside of the house probably isn't the best work that I've done of 2016, but it's definitely great. And it did inspire me to work a lot harder on my other suburban houses. So, for that very reason, this comes in at number 5. Number 4. Here at number 4, we have another build which you may personally not find that great, but this is my list of my favorite builds of 2016. And this definitely constitutes as an amazing build for me. This is my snow globe house. And why do I like it so much, do you ask? Well, I don't know whether anybody else came up with this concept. I don't know whether anybody else has done this. They may very well have, but I came up with this idea with no other inspiration. I wanted to make a snow globe with a house in it as you'd expect from like a normal snow globe in real life, and the house inside is meant to be big enough that you can actually live in. I thought to myself that that was like an amazing idea. Once again, I don't know whether that's an original idea, but for this very reason, this comes in at number 4, because I kind of like mind blew myself when I made and designed this. So we have the snow globe on the outside. You walk into the base. The base itself is big enough to actually have like a huge house, and you could definitely utilize the space. But my main concern was to make this beautiful little wooden house inside the snow globe with a nice festive winter scene inside here. And inside the house we actually have a bed, and we have chests, and we have a crafting table, and we have a furnace. Everything that you'd need for kind of like a nice little mini starter house, all packed inside this snow globe. So in a very traditional snow globe sort of setting, we have inside of it a nice hidden house. Now, once again, I don't know whether that's even close to an original idea. Probably not. Nothing in Minecraft seems to ever be original. Someone's always beat you to it. But for me, it was such like an original idea. I loved this so much. I was so excited to make this and upload it. And the sad part is that I don't know how many of you guys actually watched this video. I'll probably put like a view counter up on the screen with each one of these builds. But I don't think that many of you guys actually enjoyed this build. But this definitely for me comes in at number 4. Number 3. At number 3, we have the ultimate survival house, number 1. Yeah, this had to appear pretty low down on the list. I am so happy with this build, and you guys seem very happy with it too. It's gained an incredible amount of views in a really short amount of time. The main reason that it's appearing on the list is because it's so different from just about everything else that I have made in the past. I've made plenty of survival houses, but this one, in just the aesthetic and the functionality, is just so completely different. I think that the main reason that this house works so well, and the reason that people were so attracted to it, is very simply the nether portal built into the house out front. It seems such a simple and really easy idea. It seems like something that loads of people have probably done, but you don't see that many houses that kind of like have everything laid straight out directly in front of you. This house has a nether portal out front. It has a nice little horse stable, which you can't actually break into because horses are a little bit wider than that. It even has a nice little area for gardening and outdoor activity surrounding the house, with an inbuilt second story garden on the second floor. Inside of the little second story, we have a place in which we can craft and we can store materials, and on the inside we also have yet another place in which we can store more stuff, we can craft more stuff. We have a seating area which could easily be turned into a place used for more space, which rhymes. We have an ever-expanding mushroom farm. We even have hidden underneath the stairs on the outside a bedroom with more storage, a place to enchant, an ender chest. We have loads of stuff built into this house. Whilst I do think that my ultimate survival house number 2 is a lot more functional than this ultimate survival house, this definitely deserves its spot on the list at number 3, because it definitely inspired what I think is going to be a great series of survival and ultimate survival houses that are going to share one very similar trait, in which the nether portal and the functionality of the build overall is going to be incredibly high, whilst maintaining a great rustic feel. But that is spot number 3. Why don't we tell you about spot number 2? Number 2. At number 2, we have a build that you may not have been expecting. We have my claw machine house. I completely forgot about this until I actually started making this list. Whilst now that I look back at it, it isn't the greatest looking build of all time. However, I think that is an incredibly original idea to take a big giant claw machine, which is Minecraft prevalent. We have an Enderman head that you can win. We have a creeper. We have a pig head that you can win. We have a claw machine, yet it's turned into a house. And this is one of the many reasons that I started doing a lot of theme builds, turning weird things into houses. Like if we come inside of the actual, like this is where you'd collect your prize from the claw machine. Like if you walk up all the way up inside here and you walk down this lovely little corridor and you crack open these doors, you actually find a nice interior inside here in which you have like a TV, you have a seating area, you have a dining room table, you even have a claw machine themed bed, you even have a kitchen area, you have a nice area where you can relax, you even have, this is supposed to be a hidden room, there's supposed to be paintings on the side of here, and that's what these are supposed to be, like decoy paintings so that you don't suspect these ones. If you were to actually walk up through the claw machine house as well, if you come all the way up to the top, if you inspected the heads a little bit, you'd find that you can actually get inside of them, and this is a place in which you could actually put nice little hidden Easter eggs. You could put chests. We have a diamond head, we have a gold head, and we have an emerald head here. Like, it's just such an incredibly weird idea that I really couldn't leave it off of the number 2 spot of this list. Like I said, I'd completely forgotten about it. Is it the best build of 2016? No, but it definitely spurred on a lot more builds, including like my gumball machine house, and other builds like that definitely came from this claw machine, unless the gumball did maybe come first. But the point is that it definitely inspired some awesome theme houses, and for that reason, not only does it look cool, but it definitely deserves the number 2 spot on this list. So before I reveal the number 1 build of 2016 to you, I do want to give some honorable mentions to some builds that I came across whilst I was putting this list together that don't necessarily deserve a spot all by themselves. So the first of which, I want to show you my arcade machine house. This is a classic Space Invaders style arcade machine which has a very similar concept to my claw machine house, except of course it is an arcade machine rather than a claw machine. I think that this actually looks a lot better than the claw machine house, however it just didn't take off as much as the claw machine. I do like the look of this a lot better, it did have a lot more thought put into it, however it didn't come above the claw machine because it isn't original. It's not an original idea because the claw machine kind of came before everything else. I also want to show you guys my fishbowl house. So the idea is very simple. Here we have a fishbowl, we have a fish in it, we have a jellyfish, we have a castle in the center, we have seaweed, we have a clam, we have a chest, everything that you'd expect to find in a really funky fishbowl. Except it's a house in Minecraft, and you can live in the castle in the inside of the center of it. Once again, another build that I thought was absolutely awesome, just didn't take off. And whilst it doesn't deserve a spot on this list, I definitely did want to highlight this because once again, I love little awesome theme builds like this one. I also want to give a very small mention to the prison that I worked on earlier in the year. Whilst it looked very, very ugly now, I was very proud of it when I made it. The entire inside of the prison is furnished and quite functional, and we also have this prisoner transportation van slash bus as well. If you want to find out more about the prison, you can check out the tutorial. There's actually 2 tutorials, 3 if you include the bus, and you can see more about it there. And for the last honorable mention, I want to show you guys my public school. Another tutorial that I completely forgot about. I wish I could actually show you the tutorial version, because in that version we have a giant version of the Ender Dragon flying above the school, and we even have a school bus out here on the front road. The school is one of the very first builds, I think, before the police station and before the fire station, that I began seriously making some real world buildings. And this school even has a nice little basketball court out back, it has a playground, and the interior of this thing is quite impressive as well. We have classrooms upon classrooms, we have lockers, we have all sorts of science labs, and we even have a nice little lunch area. We have loads and loads of rooms built into this great looking, very simple, very classic looking school. But I think that that's probably about enough honorable mentions. I could kind of go on and on and on with these, but why don't I talk about the very first spot on this list? Number 1. Coming in at number 1 may be a complete surprise to you, we have my water slides. Number 1 is not simply one build. Number 1 is 6 water slides that I have made throughout this year. What started as kind of a weird idea very quickly turned into a little series that I've been running ever since. Here we have 5 of the 6 water slides that I have made on the channel. First of all, we began with this one over here, which is actually modeled on a real water slide. Quite a few of these are. We began with this one, and you guys loved this one so much that I made one that was a little bit more fun to ride. This one has plenty of curves, you spiral all the way down. We then very quickly went on to my most popular water slide to date, which is the tube water slide. This one has a big drop and reminds me heavily of a Mario tunnel, of like the Mario tube that you can kind of like go up and down. Here we have actually my second favorite water slide out of all of them. We have the bendy water slide, which kind of has the same aesthetic as the kind of like Mario tube. However, it's a lot more impressive, I think, structurally than that previous tube water slide. If we come all the way down to here, we have the 5th out of 6 water slides. We have our bowl water slide, which is, once again, it's kind of modeled on a real version of a water slide and also looks very impressive, all very brightly colored. And my latest slide, here we have the drop water slide, which I think works incredibly well. It looks great, and it is kind of quite fun to ride as well. You can see the concept is quite simple. You drop from one platform to another. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is every one of my 6 water slides, which you can use to make a pretty awesome water park. So, I don't know whether the number 1 spot was a little bit anticlimactic, considering the fact that it was 6 builds instead of 1, and the fact that it might have surprisingly been water slides, but I absolutely regret nothing. I think that they are aptly placed at number 1. I love the series. You guys seem to love it as well, and I think that it absolutely deserves the number 1 spot. Now, that is the list concluded. However, I do want to show you guys a couple of things that I have been working on over the past year that are all bundled into one very easy to find package. Possibly the most biggest and the best build of all over this entire year is my city. We have my public park here, which you can see is ever expanding. We have loads of builds here, loads down here, an incredible amount of them. We have such a random mixture of houses and activities and functional, actual useful builds mixed with just plain weird and Easter eggs that it's just an absolutely fantastic little corner of this world. We even have, as part of my city, an actual, well, city area. We have plenty of places where we have supermarkets, we have garages, petrol stations, townhouses, post offices, we have cafes, coffee shops, music shops, we have all sorts. We even have over here plenty of fast food restaurants. That makes up mainly all of this stuff, with a pet shop, and we even have a coffee shop. Over here we have the suburban district, in which we have plenty of houses ranging from small Christmas related houses building all the way up into giant suburban and modern style mansions. And if we were to go towards the back end of this world, we even have what is a very tiny, always expanding amusement park. We have the water slide that you guys saw previously, Ferris wheels, we have carousels, we have bouncy castles and trampolines, we have all sorts of crazy stuff in this world. I'm counting this as one build, however, I did not want to include this at the number 1 spot. I didn't want to include it at the number 1 spot at all. I wanted to let this build the entire thing standalone as kind of like the hidden number 0 of the list. Well, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please do slap a like on the video. It really does help me out. And let me know down below, what would your choices have been? What would your top 10 have been for the year 2016? Is it similar to my list? Do you have some other different ideas? Do let me know down there in the comment section. Subscribe for more content, say hello if you subscribe, and do also click the little bell. And if you want to make any and all of the nominations for this video, including the city, I will be leaving all sorts of tutorials, all sorts of links down there in the comment section and the card system. And that's pretty much everything that I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in 2017.